Hey, I just got back from a super duper awesome sunset photography session, and I am excited to go through these photos that I have in Lightroom, and I've already started. And so basically, just to show you, this is how the photo started, and this is what it looks like now. So there's just so much power in Lightroom, and people are always asking, how do I make these photos? And it must be the camera, it must be this, it must be that. At the end of the day, it's about the vision you have and what you do with it. So I was thinking it'd be fun to just go live and share with you a little bit of my process as I do it. I have no idea where this photo is going to go, but let's see. I like, which one of these? There's someone watching live. Should we do number 1, 2, or 3? They're pretty similar. I've already got one with the sunburst, so let's see. Let's do, arbitrarily, let's do this one. All right, so we're going to go over to develop, and the very first thing I like to do is I like to pull up the shadows. So you see immediately what that did. And to be fair, these photographs are from my DSLR, so I shoot in RAW, so I have a lot of things hiding in the shadows, but then I pull down the highlights to get a little bit more of the sky. Then let's see what happens if we put a contrast. Do I want it to be, do I want it to be really hazy? Probably somewhere in between. I kind of want this to have a little bit more of a sort of ethereal feel. So I can drag the texture all the way down, make it a watercolor, drag it all the way up, make it hyper real. I think the answer is somewhere in the middle. Let's see, bring the exposure up a little bit more, pull the highlights down. It was just an incredible night. Maybe give it a little bit more warmth. Maybe a little bit more vibrant. So those are just global adjustments. You notice I did that to everything. So then the other thing is we can always go in, remove chromatic aberration, enable profile correction. So this is interesting because, you see my lens here is a very wide, bulbous, wide-angle lens. So it creates a certain level of distortion, and Lightroom has the ability to see, enable profile correction. It goes away. It makes it a little bit less round. But those are just global changes. So then I can go to my brush, because to me, the interesting part, it was super cool. There was this woman here, and her partner was over there somewhere. Let's see if we can zoom in on him with his drone, photographing his partner over here. But his photo session ended when she got nailed by a wave. So let's just see, right? So I'd like to go here. I'll take my brush, and I want to bring up the beach a little bit where she is. So we can select the area we want, and I can make it a little bit brighter. I can up the shadow there. And I don't want to do it too much, right? Because if you do it too much, well, that just looks fake. But just giving it a little bit of extra, this is where the eye wants to go. Maybe I can, notice contrast goes up, contrast goes down. Again, we want to be very subtle with what we're doing. Maybe we want to make that section a little bit warmer. Give it a little bit more texture to draw the eye in. And just to show you, this is before. She's totally lost over there. And this is after. Now the eye is going to this woman. But because the sun is over there, it seems likely that it could be a part of that. But maybe it ends a little bit too abruptly there. So what I can do is I'll go here and I'll add a little bit more of my brushing. Sometimes I think it's like Bob Ross over here. I have a happy little brush stroke over there. See what happens. Maybe I'll actually try to do it with a little brush stroke. And just to keep that going. But then that also kind of takes away from what I did there. So maybe instead of that, I'm going to use a new brush. I'm going to create a new brush. Because I do want to kind of continue that. Nice feather, flow can be a little bit lighter. So we're going to keep this going, but it doesn't quite need to be as bright. So maybe I'll give it a little bit of exposure over there. Increase the highlights a little bit, maybe a little bit more, right? It's just playing. That's what I love about this, right? Make happy little mistakes. That's what I'm doing. So where was it? We added the brush here. So this was before. And and this was after. So much of what we can do in the digital darkroom is, again, is subtle. And now I don't like, in my original one, I almost feel like this area here is, what did I do? Up to explosions, I just do anything? Oh gosh. I'm bouncing around, don't mind me. So here, now I actually think that I can put a little bit too much light over here because it's taking away. So I'm going to subtly go in and take a little bit of that light away, a little bit of that light away. Okay. So now, just to show you again where we were before I started doing all that, before, after. Okay, so what else can we do here? Let's see, okay, so here's another global thing that's nice. There's this under effects, you can go here and do vignette, and you see you can make the edges really dark. That's kind of interesting. Not what I'm looking for. You can make the edges really light, so it looks like an old photograph. But I like to just give it like, 7 or 8, a little bit of the edges around here. So let's just see, before, after. And what that does is that draws the eye into the subject. So to me also, I want this, this right here in the middle, that is Shark Fin. Shark Fin Cove is the name of this place. So I want to accentuate the highlight, Shark Fin Cove. So I'm going to go here to select object. It's just amazing how far Lightroom has come. I click that, it's going to find the shark fin. When I started doing Photoshop, and there wasn't even Lightroom when I started doing Photoshop, when I started playing around with all of this probably 20 years ago, you had to, if you were lucky, you had to manually highlight and select each of these. And then you would get these weird, ugly glows because inevitably the human hand would move out, you can't draw the exact lines of the edges. Let's see, it's a little bit brighter. Yeah, we don't want to do it too bright. Contrast. A little bit more contrast, maybe bring the blacks down, because I do want it to pop. Give it a little texture. Texture is always a nice way to make it pop. See, before, after. I know it might be tough to see on your little screen, especially if you're watching this on a phone. I also want to give it a little bit more color because the sun is glowing on it. So let's just see, before, after. I like it. Oh, here's something else I noticed. I had a little bit of dust on my lens, so I can do this. This over here is the healing brush. I'm just going to highlight the dust spot. Eventually. We're going to look at a little spinning wheel. Okay, and then it's going to get rid of the dust spot. I think that this little cloud over here is a little distracting, so I'll get rid of that. Is this a dust spot or is that my monitor? Oh, that's my monitor. I got a little something on my monitor. And that's pretty good right now. I'll probably come back to this a little bit later, but just to show you what I just did in, 5 minutes? This was the original. Those are all the things that I did. And that's what it looks like now. Pretty powerful stuff, huh? Let's keep going. So I'm not doing any of those. Now this was nice. It was just as the sun was going over, the waves were crashing. So let's see. Do we want, which one are we going to do? Number 1, number 2. I think I know the answer to that. This is the one that I really want to focus on. So let's just see. Again, I shot in camera raw. So, when I'm shooting with my phone, don't get me wrong. I love the photos that came out of my iPhone tonight. They're freaking amazing. And I was able to edit them in the car before I even left the parking lot and get a couple of things up on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram and stuff, right? But the problem is that those shoot in JPEG in order to be able to create the amazing immediate gratification. And yes, you can shoot in RAW also, but then it gets gigantic and I don't have enough space on my hard drive. But when you shoot in RAW, right, when I'm using this, when I'm shooting in RAW using this, you can imagine the sensor size and the ability to catch it. My average file size on my DSLR is 50 megabytes. So I got 50 megabytes of data. So look at this. Here in the shadows, you got the full details of the rock hiding under there, or the other way, if I just wanted to be black, it can be black, but the full details. Also here in the sun, right, you lose a lot to the highlights. You can go super that way, or I can go super that way. So for me, I think I'm going to lower the highlights. I want to see a little bit more details in the rock. But now, you know, I think that the foreground, like this was nice that it was dark. Now it's just, it's all even, right? Because I'm making global adjustments. So what I want to do is I want to go into my brush, take my brush, and there's many ways to do this, right? You know, I can use gradients. In fact, let's do that. Let's play around. I don't usually use gradients, so let's challenge myself. I'm going to do a linear gradient, and I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to go down here. I'm going to flip it. Whoa. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'll move that over there. So when you see the red is, you know, clearly you see that it's showing red. What the red means is that that is where it's going to make the adjustment. So now if I lower the exposure, it's making it a lot lower over here at the bottom part of my little square, right? Do you see how it's the bottom half is getting darker, whereas the top is not? That's what I want. I want it to be the bottom, and I don't even necessarily need that. So let's go back, put some contrast in there. And I still want to have some texture, or maybe I don't. You know, maybe I want it to be, yeah, see, maybe that's a little bit more painterly, a little more abstract in the bottom. I kind of like that. You know, just playing, having fun. This is, you know, I like to think of the digital negatives, the raw files, as clay, as infinite potential to reimagine the scene of the moment however you want, right? Like, who's to say it wasn't that yellow? Who's to say it wasn't that orange, right? Like, have fun. Who cares what people think? All that matters is, did you like it? Most people are going to look at your photo for about 2 seconds if you're lucky. Maybe they'll give it a thumbs up. Speaking of which, if you're watching this live, if you're watching it on replay, give us a thumbs up. Drop something in the comments. It'll help the Facebook robot show it to more people. But really, at the end of the day, did you enjoy it? Are you doing this for you? Are you having fun? Because photography is fun. At least for me, it is. If you're watching this, if you're watching me at 8:38 p.m. edit photos on my computer, I'm guessing photography is fun for you as well. So here, I think we're definitely going to want to give some vignettes. So let's just take a look at it. So see now here, I almost want to get a little more something out of there, because this is now getting lost. So we're going to get my brush again. First, let's just see where we started. We started here, and now we're here. Cool. So now I want to go in with my brush, and I don't quite know what I want to do yet, but I know I want to add. I want to use a brush. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make my flow red. We're just going to sort of paint in over here where the water is, and let's just see what happens, right? Play with the sliders, have fun. Let's see, if I bump up the exposure, no, I don't particularly like that. What about decreasing the contrast? Increasing the contrast? That's kind of cool. Highlights. If anybody out there watching live happens to have a suggestion, totally open the suggestion. I really like texture. I dig on texture because that just makes it, as you'd imagine, it gives it texture. Let's see. Clarity. Let's see how we did before that. So before, after. Not much, but I like it. Anyway, I'll probably play with these a little bit more after the video ends, but let's just keep going, okay? So let's just take a quick look again. Before, after. Yeah, after. Is it too much? I don't know. Who cares? I'm having fun. Let's see. What's next? That one was cool. Just to see what other things we have. I'll show you a couple more. Ooh, that'll be a fun one to play with. And this one too. This is the last one I took at the end of the night. That's got a lot of possibilities. But just to show you a couple of other things from the you know, from the drive up there. So this one, I made a couple of teeny things, right? The changes don't have to be massive. We're just going from that to that. What about this one? This one here. How did this start? This started like that. So just a little bit of a crop, a little, let me see, I've got to do a little, I didn't manage to get that out. Right. Oh my gosh, what am I doing, Greg? What are you doing? I'm just so grateful that my little MacBook Pro from 2014 is still hanging on and letting me do these heavy duty edits. And I notice in every version of Lightroom that comes out, things get a little bit slower, as you can imagine. Like right now, come on, I'll keep going. Let's see what else. That one I haven't done anything to you. Yeah, let's just do this. Take a quick break from Shark Fin Cove. Ooh, this one was cool. I did a lot of this. So this started out like that, which I think is, you know, if I did nothing with it, I would still like it. But here, I added all of this. But it's not, I don't know, it's probably not helpful for you to see me do, oh, I did this and this without me showing you. The whole purpose is I'm walking you through my process, but you get the idea for what's possible. Let's just take a look at this road. Okay. So again, I always like to start with, I always underexpose my photos. Because because I know what I'm going to do in Lightroom. Because I know that I can always get my shadows back very easily. But I cannot really recover, well, in that case I can, but you can't recover highlights as easily as you can recover shadows. Let's get my shadows all the way up. First of all, that uneven horizon really bothers me. So to get, first I'm going to remove chromatic aberration. I'm going to enable profile correction, which is going to straighten it out a little bit. Then I go into my crop tool. I click on this little ruler and I drag it across the entire horizon. And now my horizon is even. So you don't have to worry about my uneven horizon anymore. And then there's always the question of, does this uneven horizon, does even having the sky take away from it? Would the photo be better if it was just like that? You know, looking at it, it might well be. I don't know. I can't decide. What do you think? Dude. I'm going to keep it. I think it adds something to it. But let me know in the comments. Do you like it? Should I keep it? We'll add exposure a little bit. This could be a nice highish contrast. We're going to pull our highlights down a little. Well, oh my God, not that much. Actually, I'm going to I'll show you this in a minute. I'm going to pull my highlights down selectively. You can add some texture to that grass, a little vibrance. And now I'm going to go and see if this is cool. Add your mask. I just click sky. Take a sip of my water. So Photoshop, interesting. Photoshop decided all of that is the sky, including that little bit of land out there. So let's just see. I'm going to pull my highlights down in the sky. Yeah, cool. I like that. And let me just say, it's always funny because I'm just going to show you this. I actually, and this is why it's so silly sometimes, going through all this effort to, this was, let me just quickly go over here. This was the same photo. Can you see it? Right out of my, not really doing a good job replicating that, but you know, right out of the iPhone is so good. But here, just, I don't know that I need to keep working on this, but just to show you, again, a couple minutes, we went from that to that. So let's go back to Shark Fin Cove. We'll do a couple more of these. So I want to do, yeah, I like this one a lot, a nice powerful silhouette. But do I need what's hiding the shadows? No, see, I don't, that takes away from it. So if anything, well, what I might want to do, this is one of these examples where I might entirely work in selective. Let's start, because I want to have some more shadows, I want to see a little bit of this, maybe, question mark. Talking to my phone too much. I don't know if any of you watching this ever use voice dictation on your cell phone to take notes. All right. No, brushy, brushy. Exposure. Oh, flow. But when I'm doing, no, I don't like it. I don't know, this one might be pretty darn good as is. I don't know if I'm actually adding anything to it. Anyway, so when I do voice dictation, like, you know, I'm texting my wife, like, do you need me to get anything from the grocery store, question mark? So my 4-year-old daughter, Luna, one day had an imaginary conversation with someone named question mark, because she didn't understand the concept of, well, we were putting punctuation in, she thought we were sending messages to someone named question mark. Anyway, that's not the story for you. Let's see. I feel like it just needs a little something in it, so it's not just a pure black. So let's have that. Okay, what else do I want to do? I want to, not much. This one's pretty much like it as is, which is rare for me. I'm the king of always wanting to change everything. But let me just leave that and move on, because it's not the best demo to see me doing these subtle changes. I can play with those later. But here we go. This is at the very end of the night. So let's go. Shadows, what do we got? Hiding in there. Ooh, cool. Get those highlights down to the sky. So see, here's an example. This water, even though it's reflecting blue, for whatever reason, came out really blue. And it's not that blue. So I'm going to get my brush, and I'm going to highlight the water. And, you know, this is another thing. Lightroom has this amazing ability to, you see how it's just making these pretty fine lines around the water and not, you know, it messed up a little bit over there, but that was the only place where it accidentally got a little rocket. Everything else is like, boom, it's going to highlight exactly what you want. So now, I'm just going to change the temperature a little bit. There we go, that's far more natural. See, originally it was, after I pulled the shadows up, it was super blue, which is not. So there we go, now that's a bit more realistic. What else should we do? Oh yeah, first let's go ahead and straighten our horizon. Dun, 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 angle. This is your reminder for all my fellow computer people to sit upright, straighten your back, take care of yourself, so not always hunched over all day, which is just so easy for it to happen. Add a little texture. I definitely want to add some vibrance. The vibrance. See, here's where do I want the vibrance? Adding the vibrance makes my water blue again, which I don't want. So let's go ahead and get my select sky. Maybe more blue and orange. All right, thank you, Lily. Let's see. More blue and orange. Well, let's see what happens if we just do a little extra saturation in the sky. Again, I just don't want to overdo it, but I like that. Maybe make it a little, ooh, that's way too warm. A little contrast. Pull the highlights down. This is more realistic. It was towards the end of the night. And it's such a fine line because it's so easy to make it look fake. So here's the one bummer. The one thing that my complaint is about Lightroom is I can, if I just want to play with the blue, I can go in here and just select the blue, right? And I can make it super duper saturated, get rid of that. I can change the hue a little bit. And I can make it a darker blue. I can make it lighter. I can make it super dark. Like this blue. But it's global. And inexplicably, Lightroom does not have a way to make brushes with this color. So I have to pop it into Photoshop to do that, which I'm not trying to do at the moment. What else can I do here? Let's just see. I really want to accentuate the middle part, so let's add a brush. Happy little brush. Happy little brush over here. This whole area. And let's increase, I might have to take some of that out. Let's just increase our exposure. Pull up the shadows even more. Maybe make it a little bit more warm, because it is the end of the day. Right, because at the end, really, the camera does its best to accurately represent the colors and to do everything, but sometimes you gotta give it a little bit of help. A little bit too much yellow. Give it some extra texture. Take away some clarity, maybe even a little more exposure. Careful not to overdo it. This is a sunset photo. As much as I love, what if I bump the contrast up? Ooh, that's kind of cool, but no. Let's do more. All right. That's too much. I have to take this away from the green. My friend Laura Miller would tell me exactly what to do. Laura's super duper awesome. She has the greatest eye for color I have ever seen. I used to work with her at a photo lab in San Francisco, and she'd know exactly, oh, you just got like 3 points of green or 3 points of blue to this photo. But let's just see. Let's see how far we've come. That's where we started. As a reminder, that's where we started. This is where we are now. And I definitely need to come back to this too, right? Because it always happens. Like, oh, this is perfect. I'll wake up tomorrow. I'll hate it. You know, I already know that it's not perfect. But like, what else can I do to it? I'll find that out later. Let's see. Is there anything else that I'm excited to work on right now with you? Oh, that beautiful moon. Oh yeah, this cave one. Here's another super cool. We can see the power of the shadows that are hiding. Get all that in there. Get a little bit more of the cave. Let's have a little texture. Some more vibrance. Oh, see, vibrance made the water too blue because the water was not blue. I mean, although I learned this in one of my kids' science books, the water looks blue because it reflects the blue sky. On gray, cloudy days, it looks gray because it reflects the color of the sky, the gray sky. Who knew? I'll make that a little, there we go, a little bit more of that. Maybe a little bit too blue. Okay. And then we're going to go in here and we're going to take out and add a new brush. We're going to get our brush and go down. I want to take away the blue because there's no blue there. So we're going to change the temperature. One way to combat blue is to add yellow. That's more realistic. Let's just say we started here and now we're here. This by no means is going to be an award-winning photo, so I'm not going to. I mean, what does it take to be an award-winning photo? I'm going to remove the chromatic aberration. I'm going to enable profile correction. I'm going to make sure that there's a nice big old vignette around. just to make sure those corners are dark. Now, do I need highlights down? Cool. I'm happy with it. Oh yeah, I can totally take out sketch. Hello, there it is. Our water, I see that I can also add that. It looks like it turned this blue. The wall was definitely not blue. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Gives it a little bit of a hint of the yellow, but I don't know. That kind of looks fake to me. So I'll probably just create a new brush, go over there, and I might just keep it easy and just desaturate it a little bit. It's really rocks it. There we go. All right, before, after. Where is this? Hello. And then you can see it, but my monitor just went out. Oh, there we go. And you know, it's also keep in mind that everything looks different depending on your screen. So just because something looks the way it looks on my calibrated monitor does not mean that it looks that way on your screen. Let's see, my favorites of the day. Let me get this one. So these are my selects. So just to show you though, my whole shot, this was my entire day. Lots of different versions of the same thing. And this one, that's pretty cool. Take a look at that. Oh, that's good. This is why I don't delete. Ooh, here we go. Oh, my goodness, this is fun. I was missed out on that one. Texture up. How are you doing? How's your day doing? What's your favorite subject to photograph? Let's have a conversation in the comments of people who are here watching live, watching replay. If you could go anywhere, if you could photograph anything in the world, what would it be and why? What would it be? I think some of my favorite things, these are pretty nice. Some of my favorite things to photograph are really like ruins and the intersection of nature and humanity. So like moss coming up through streets, coming up through sidewalk cracks. I love photographing my kids' toys in the backyard when they get overgrown by the grass, by the weeds, by whatever. Yeah. Feels like nothing's happening, but I know it is. So sometimes if I do this, it's just the wrong color. So let's try the other blue. Hey, there we go. Let's make that nice and blue. No more powerful. Okay. And then I want to accentuate the green and the moss. So let's see if I super saturate, super take away. Okay, so cool. We're saturated there. We're going to make the green and the moss. No, I straightened it, but sometimes I don't know. I think that might be a little better. What would you do? What would you do to this photo? I'm taking requests. And the highlights down a little bit more. So the water is much too blue for me there. And this happens a lot, and you can always tell, and you know, I'm not saying if this is something you do, then now you're going to learn a trick to get rid of it, at least in Lightroom. But when bumping up saturation and doing things globally, one of the biggest things I notice is that waters become blue. And my friends, I know water can be blue, but usually it is not as blue as it appears in your photo. And whether you're doing it or it's your phone doing it, let's make a concerted effort to make our waters less blue, because this looks much more real than, right? Take a look at the water here. It's super blue. The water was not that blue. This, zoom in. So I don't often like to zoom in because I'm lazy and I want to just get things done fast. And there's something to be said for making fine adjustments where the here, right, like super fine adjustments with super small. So here's a power tip. If you're using your keyboard, it's the bracket open and the bracket closed. The ones that are right next to the T. That's how you can easily change your brush size without having to use the sliders. All right, cool. See how we're doing. Okay, so just to quickly show you where we started and where we are now. And I'm not done. That's where it started. Remember? Not too long ago. A few minutes ago it was there. Now we've gotten it to here. I noticed my, oh, I'm not reaching that for me. Oh my God, like, oh look, cool, there's the moon up there. That teeny little sliver. That's not a speck of dust, that's the moon. So what else? I want to accentuate, as I've done several times in other things, the shark fin rock. So I smush my little red brush over there. I let Lightroom do its thing. Take a sip of my delicious pH 9.5 Kangen ionized water, and I'm ready to bump up some shadows. Again, I don't need to make it super, but that is the subject, right? For better or for worse, it's front and center. Increase the texture. Give it a little bit of yellow from that late afternoon sun. Okay, let's just see. Yeah, I like it. And I might even click there, go here. I might even add a little bit of that in over here. No, you know what I want to do? I got an idea. Let's have some fun. Let's have a happy little experiment, and we'll see how we feel about it. I'm going to do this. I want it from the sun to be shining over this area here. So notice I'm not going all the way to the edge because I want the edge to be darker because that's the natural vignette. It draws the eye in. Let's just play. You're going to raise that exposure, give it a little contrast. I definitely want to bump up the texture. Increase the shadows a little bit. Yeah, increase the shadows a little bit. What do we think? I mean, this is my style. This is my style that I've crafted over years and years of editing photos. What is your style? Your style is completely different. You know, if you have a website, if you have an Instagram, drop it in the comments. I'd love to check it out. I'd love to see your beautiful work because everybody is an artist. Right? It's a Pablo Picasso quote. Every child is born an artist. The question, and I'm going to butcher it, the question is how to remain an artist when you become an adult. Right? Whatever that is. And like, that's what's so fun about photography, whether you're using big old DSLR, whether you're using iPhone, whatever you're using, we have this amazing, through digital technology, opportunity to share, to create, to just have fun. Let's see what it looks like before, after. So again, it's subtle. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more yellow. No, I'm not doing anything. Change my color tint. No, because I'm not on my, there you go. Oh yeah, that's too yellow. A little bit of yellow. That's nice. And then I'm just curious, I can always delete it. I'm going to add a brush. I'm going to brush it in. I'm going to see what happens. If I add a little bit of what we got going on here, to the bottom of the rock. Barely anything. Does it need it? No, it doesn't need it. I'm taking it away. Okay, back to my global settings. I give it a vignette, give it a little vignette. And then I always feel like I make things a little bit too dark at first. So then I wind up the next day coming back and making them lighter, but that's too light. Because it is the end of the day and the shadows are in front of me. I don't know. All right, so let's just take another look at before and after. Before. And after. So I'm going to make sure to tag that photo so it goes into my favorites from the day. Anything else? Anything else I want to play with while we're all here together? I was taking a selfie of me making photos and I'm going to delete those. And that's the other end of it. Cool, two completely different ones. See, I'm looking at, oh my gosh. Now I come back and look at this with a fresh set of eyes and oh my God, I hate it. I hate it. The colors are completely off. Completely and totally off. It's too much yellow, it's too much orange. Put some, well, not that much, geez. So it happens when the slider goes slow. All right, that's already a little bit better. Need to go in there and get to, I need my brush. We need to go in there and make that more neutral. Here too, because the water is not that blue as we've been talking about. I don't know I still don't quite know where to go next with this, but I think it's better than when I just, oh yeah, that's how it was just before. It looks like greenish yellow. Now we got a little bit more realistic, so I'm happy to leave that one alone again. Thank you to everybody who has joined in live, who has watched this on replay. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've gotten something out of it. I know I've had a steady. This one, right? I had a way cooler wave crashing. Okay. And then I get that one I don't want, and one I don't want. That one is not necessary. I'm going to take one more stab at this one. I need something in the foreground, or do I? I think it's just really complete and total. So that, or maybe it's just not a keeper. I don't know. What do you think? This will be my parting thought to you. What the heck should I do with this photo? The rest of them were easy. That one's befuddled me. All right, we're going to go through this. Some highlights of the day, post-processing. Oh yeah, I got this one. Stream going. It didn't come out how I wanted it to. All right, let's take a look. Starting my drive up the Pacific Highway, this is the first thing. I'd like to take that telephone pole out, but I don't know if it's worth my energy. This one, so we'll do this. We'll go through these, we'll do before and after, and then I'm going to bid you adieu because I don't know how long I've been on that for. 45 minutes. Okay. Before, after. Small change. Before, after. Before, oh, I do still like it with the header in there, with the sky in it. Before, after. What's next? Before, after. Before, small changes. Small changes. Right here, I thought that I wanted the water to be less bright, less reflective. I haven't done anything with this one. I kind of like it just how it is. Every once in a while, I actually say those words. Before, after. I might have done too much on this. I don't know. I'll decide later. You can let me know in the comments too. Did I do too much? Oh, this one I had fun with. This was like a perfectly placed person down here. And even though I actually prefer the next one, no, not that one. I prefer this one because it's got the sunburst in it. It's a completely different photo. What I really like about this one is the focus on this person here. So you'll see, this was one of the first ones I did. I don't think I did in this video, but that's the before. And that's the after. This one here, completely different image. And I guarantee you I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to look at these again, and I'm going to have to change every single one of them because that is the perfectionist in me. And I know that so many photographers and so many creative people share this perfectionism. And can we all just let that go? Can you accept that everything can I accept, can any of us accept that everything we create, that you create, is perfect? Absolutely perfect. Could you always make changes? Could you always do things differently? Of course. And it's perfect. And pretty much you're going to share it on social media. It's going to get 5 seconds of glory, and then everybody's going to forget about it. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound about right? So we spend so much time self-doubting, self-shaming. It's not good. I'm not good enough. Blah, blah, blah. All these stories we tell ourselves for something that nobody's going to even remember. Nobody's going to care about except for us. So take imperfect action. Put it out there. Move on to the next thing. Go hang out with your family. Go make more photos. Go cook dinner. Go do whatever it is that lights you up. Enjoy your life. Because at the end of the day, these are ones and zeros on a computer. That's all it is. So let the sun set, let the waves crash, look through the tunnel, don't do anything to it at all, stare up at the beautiful moon, enjoy life, enjoy the day. I'll pull this over here. So wow, I've never done that before. That was fun. I was 50 minutes of me editing photos. I was going to do it anyway, so I figured, why not do it live? So to everybody who tuned in, who joined in, who watched at some point or another, thank you. If anybody actually watches this entire thing on replay, awesome. And that's it. You can check out adventuresofagoodman.com. That is my website. That is where I publish my photos. I'll probably be publishing these in the next couple of days, and I'll publish this video along with it. Follow me on Instagram at adventuresofagoodman. And yeah, if you're interested in making money online, if you're a travel lover, a photographer, and wants to make money online so you can live your life, quit your job and live your life like it's a vacation, reach out, let's chat. That's my passion. My passion is helping travel lovers make money online so you can quit your job and live your life like it's a vacation. I'd love to talk to you about that. It has nothing to do with photography, to be completely clear. I'm not a photography coach, even though I just shared all of this. I would love to talk to you about it if you want to make money online, and if not, and you just enjoy photography and enjoy this video. Either way, you're amazing, you're awesome, I love you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.